Here we are, back at Mountbatten. Do a quick intro here, checking the cameras on. It's a quick 35-minute race. This is some footage back from the summer. Now the series has ended and we're into winter, I'll go back through some of the footage that I've collected and set into a file and ignored. There we go, grabbing the rear light, accidentally left that on at the start of the race. No bother. It was a pretty interesting race this evening. Spoiler alert, I finally won a race. I was kind of got pretty close a few times before this, but this was everything kind of went right for me in this evening. So we're going to rush through pretty quickly through the actual main section of the race and then fast forward to the last 4 laps. But decent field out, a lot of like time trialist riders, not many sprinters, not many people that I think would back their sprint. So as long as I can keep it together, then I've got a pretty decent chance. Kind of fake an attack here, just to, I don't know, I think I was just trying to be funny. Squeeze to the front, but there are people on my wheel. Got the Insta360 camera out tonight. I think the footage is so much better than the GoPro. There's Stephen Swindley in the Royal Navy kit with the white top, blue shorts. He loves a late attack. Doesn't really sprint, but he's a extremely good time trialist. So I've got to keep an eye out on him getting away. You don't really want him getting away with another few riders, so just got to close it down. But yeah, first few laps up to speed pretty quickly, but nothing crazy. I backed my sprint. I want it to come down to a sprint. Here we go. The rider in the blue with the red back that just went past the camera there. He's probably the strongest rider in the race. So he's the guy that I've got my eye on, Sam Shepherd, who's 2 wheels ahead of me at the moment. Number 20. So he's who I'm looking at most in this race, and whose wheel I want in the sprint, because I know that he's got a decent sprint and he backs his sprint. So I've got to keep my eyes open him. But yeah, most of the race, 5 minutes in, just closing down moves, just making sure nothing goes away, you're not getting caught out. As soon as you kind of realise that a group is forming ahead, you gotta close it down. Jumping on Tom's wheel here. There we go. Look at that the concentration in that face. Out on the race bike this evening on the Madone, no paint, 88mm wheels or something stupid, with my 28cm handlebars. But this is quite dangerous here when people start. They can't really close down the wheel ahead of them, or they decide not to close it and they start swinging up, and then that's when the gaps can get really big, especially when nobody wants to work. So I have to burn a few matches here to close this down. But yeah, there's some dangerous riders in this group that I've got to get to. But we're about to jump to the end of the race. Nothing really was getting away. Nothing got more than the kind of 20-30 metre gap. But here's Sam coming past me here. I think I jump on his wheel. And I'll be pretty happy if I just sit on his wheel for the rest of it. But this is a really good attack from Sam here. It's good timing. You're attacking from the back, carrying the speed, closing down a group ahead. So people are either exhausted from being in the group or exhausted from chasing down the group. But just the nature of the racing on this evening, that we kept it pretty fast. Nobody lifts off really. So we never got a massive gap, and we managed to just kind of work together and bring it out. If maybe like 2 or 3 people jumped over to Sam, then that's a bit dangerous, but eventually I think we just realised that we're all just marking each other out, and that's the end of the race, and I'm just kind of having a bit of a chin wag with Fergus after 25 minutes. It was a pretty spicy 25 minutes up to this point, but then the next 10 minutes are pretty chilled out before the end of the race, as I'm about to jump forward to 4 laps to go. Each lap is about 30-40 seconds. So there's about 2.5-3 minutes of racing left. I want to pick the wheel for the sprint pretty carefully, so that's why I'm on Sam's wheel now. I'm not really going to let anyone else close it. I also know Sam's pretty proactive in closing moves down. He's not going to be the sort of rider that looks around and calls someone bluff, which is something that I might do in a sprint, but he's a lot nicer than I am, so he tends to close moves down a little bit more. But I don't really want to be second wheel going into the final few laps. So I'm still looking over, making sure that nobody's going to jump me over the top. I know there's riders in this group that are going to attack before the finish that don't back their sprint. And the fact that we've had a really easy last kind of 7-8 minutes, there are riders that are going to be pretty fresh. So those attacks are going to be quite powerful if they do go. But Sam's just setting a pace here at the front. ticking over, both of us making sure. There we go, 3 laps to go, about 90 seconds to 2 minutes of racing. And I see Stephen kind of wind it up a little bit over the top, but I'm not really sure what he's doing here, to be honest. I don't know if he just wasn't very happy with the speed we were going, so he just sits in the front for a little bit and then just swings up. I think it was a pretty fun evening. We were all kind of joking with each other, not taking it that seriously, but still hard competitive racing. Really enjoyed the racing down there this year. Can't wait for 2025. But here we go, John, another one of these riders that likes a late attack, doesn't really back his sprint, but is a super strong kind of time trial effort kind of rider. But like I said, Sam is right on it, closes it down. I'm on his wheel, basically a free closing down of a move there. But John does have a teammate further back, Tom, as you'll see down there on the red Trek Madone, Gen 7 I think it is. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, those two are probably going to join up at some point and give each other a lead out. It's pretty much their only move now, with less than 2 laps to go. And he does eventually sit on the front with Tom on his wheel, with me on Sam's wheel, and now I'm thinking, this is it. This is the perfect situation. He's going to wind it up on the front, and then I can kind of jump on the outside of Sam, box him a little bit, and get round Tom. Because it's really hard to give a lead out. It's just a single ride here. It's really, really easy to drop your teammate off too early. And when you're second wheel being dropped off first wheel, you need to be dropped off really, really late. But there's Stephen over the top. A really well-timed move, but Sam is straight on it. Jumps over the lead out ahead of us. Last lap, I'm on Sam's wheel. At this point, we haven't gone maximum. Sam is timing the closing to Stephen ahead of us. And now it's all about when I time my sprint, and I want to time it just before we catch Stephen so that I can box Sam in below. And here we go, I jump pretty well. I managed to get over him. We do make contact a little bit there, but I'm not giving any room. I need to get past him before he can kind of jump up behind me. At this point, there's only about 50 metres to go, and secured the win. The first win of the season, ahead of Sam. Some great racing. Can't wait for next year.